Alright guys, so when you see me playing Fingerstyle Acoustic R&B guitar, you often ask me in the comments what exactly I'm playing on the right hand. So what is exactly my fingerstyle pattern, my finger picking patterns that I use in my videos? Well, in this video I'll try to show you step by step all I think of when I play these patterns, okay? As always, the tabs for all of the examples will be on my Patreon page, so you can head to my Patreon page, download them, and if you become a Patreon, you will also support this channel. Now guys, the first thing that I want to mention is that when I start playing these chord progressions, I obviously know what chords to play, and I'm going to show you in a minute, but mainly I think of the drums, I think of the rhythm, okay? I don't think step by step about which string exactly I'm playing, which finger I'm using. This will eventually, you know, be something that I can analyze and say, all right, I've played, you know, these strings, I skipped that, and things like that. But first, I think of that kind of thing, okay? Like if I was playing, you know, drums really, or percussive instruments in general, okay? That's the main reason why you will always see me playing that backbeat 2 and 4, okay, with my slap thumb or with all of my hand, or even just by muting the strings and interrupting the sound, okay? Because this is part of the R&B feel, like we explained in my latest video that you'll find on the channel if you haven't seen yet about the R&B feel. So let's have a look at what I was playing today, for example, okay? So I was starting from a super common chord progression, okay? 1 minor, 5 minor, 4 minor, and back to 5 minor. Okay, you can play that in any key. Today I felt like playing in C sharp minor, so I was playing C sharp minor 7, G sharp minor 7, F sharp minor 7, and back to G sharp minor 7. Sometimes I also used a diminished 7 chord as a passing chord. That was a C diminished 7th, and we'll see in a minute why I did that. Right, so the fingerstyle techniques that I use are a mix of plucking, which means, you know, when you play all of the strings simultaneously, okay? So my thumb is playing the bass, and then I use index, middle, and ring, so 3 fingers, to play another 3 strings. Now, those 3 strings could change and vary between chords, but on a general basis, most of the times I will be on D, G, and B strings, okay? Now, even when you pluck the strings, you don't only do this, and that's it, okay? Most of the times I will smoothly go in between the strings a little slowly, like that, okay? We can still say this is a pluck, okay? We can't say it's an arpeggio, because an arpeggio would be, you know, this, but it's a slow and gentle pluck rather than this, which is a little bit too harsh, okay? This also gives you the chance to play nice embellishments, like this hammer-on pull-off, okay, with my second finger. And then the other thing that I always do, because I want to create that variety of long and short sounds, I will play some staccato after a long sound, like a long pluck, okay? And the way I do this is by hitting a single string. Most of the time that would be a high string, like the first one here, and I will be using my ring finger most of the times, like that. And I interrupt the sound very, very soon to create that staccato feel, and then add my backbeat, my beat number 2, like the snare of the drums, like that, okay? Then I do basically the same on all of the other chords. I alternate, you know, plucks, where I play all of the strings that I want to play in this chord simultaneously, okay? Obviously, depending on where the root note is, my thumb might move from the A to the E string, rarely to the D string as well. But my, you know, other 3 fingers playing the upper part of the chord, they rarely move, okay? So I pluck the G sharp minor 7 like this. But again, then I want to play single sounds to create a variety, which is not just a boring pluck of the same chord. And I do this by hitting possibly the thumb, you know, with the thumb I mean on the bass on its own, and then with the ring finger again the highest note, okay? that's already something that creates a groove. But then again, it's all a matter of confidence on the timing and thinking about the drums with that laid-back R&B feel. Because sometimes you want to do the plucks or the arpeggios quicker and sometimes slower. Okay, depending on the timing of what you're playing. Okay, and then again, you obviously hit the percussions on the beat number 4, but then after that, I like to often play a couple of sounds on the 2nd and 3rd 16ths to create even more syncopation to what I'm playing. And often I do something like this. I play one note with my index, usually either the G or the D string, and then the bass with my thumb before moving on to the next chord. This kind of thing. Then at some point I like to open up the chord progression. I like to play at least one chord with a pure 4-string arpeggio. Like that, okay? Because again, it creates a variety and a contrast between a pluck and an arpeggio. When I play the arpeggio, the strings and the fingers I use are obviously the same, but I'm hitting them one at a time. Okay? Before going to my backbeat, my percussion. And then when I go to the last chord, again I can play, usually plucks, okay? But then depending on what I'm playing next, I might interrupt that sound a little sooner because, for instance, I want to play a passing chord. And if I play a passing chord, that passing chord will be a C diminished 7th, okay? Because that's the passing chord to go to C sharp minor 7 and start again, okay? If you guys haven't seen my full explanation on the diminished 7 chords and the secondary diminished 7 chord function, I'll leave a link in the description. Don't miss that video if you really want to understand the diminished 7 chords. As you can see, sometimes I like to create variations to my chord progression, and if I originally played this chord with a 4-string arpeggio, I might the next time play it as a pluck, okay? And also play a lot with the length of the chords, so sometimes the pluck could be long, like that, but some other times the pluck could be quite short, okay? Because it creates that staccato feel. And again, the contrast between a short chord and a long chord, especially if then I'm going to the passing chord, the C diminished 7th, which again I can play if I like as an arpeggio, but more likely I'll play it as a full pluck, going back to this chord, okay? You see that often, even if I play a pluck on this chord, it's not this, but it's more likely this, okay? Where I slowly go in between the strings, okay? So as I said, it's a variety of techniques, and eventually that will get you into the right groove, but ultimately you've got to feel it, okay? So it's a matter of feeling this, okay? And then or. Okay, again alternating which chords are longer and which chords are shorter. Right guys, that's all for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and remember, more resources including the tab and music notation of these examples are on my Patreon page. Feel free to visit it. It's gonna be in the description below. The link is gonna be in the description below. Alright. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, and see you on the next one.